Have you ever seen a World Cup match where one player completely destroys a team's hopes before they even settle into the game? That's exactly what happened in Miami. Scotland entered this match believing they could take a huge step toward the knockout stage, but within minutes Brazil turned their dream into a nightmare. By the final whistle, the scoreline read 3-0. Vinícius Júnior had stolen the spotlight, and the rest of the world received a warning that Brazil might be ready to conquer the 2026 World Cup.
The atmosphere inside Miami Stadium was incredible. Brazilian supporters filled the stands with energy, songs, and confidence, while Scotland's fans arrived hoping their team could produce one of the biggest surprises of the tournament. Both sides knew how important this match was. A victory would strengthen Brazil's position at the top of Group C, while Scotland needed points to improve their chances of reaching the knockout rounds. The pressure was enormous, and from the very first whistle, it was clear that neither side wanted to hold back.
Brazil started the match with intensity and purpose. Their passing was sharp, their movement was quick, and every attack looked dangerous. Scotland tried to stay compact and organized, but Brazil's quality immediately began creating problems. The Scottish defense had barely settled when the breakthrough arrived. Just 7 minutes into the game, Vinícius Júnior found space in the attacking third and finished brilliantly to give Brazil an early lead. It was the perfect start for the five-time world champions and a terrible one for Scotland. Suddenly, the entire game plan Scotland had prepared was under pressure.
What made the goal even more important was the confidence it gave Brazil. After taking the lead, they controlled possession and forced Scotland to spend long periods chasing the ball. Every Brazilian attack seemed to carry a threat. Vinícius looked unstoppable whenever he received possession, and Scotland struggled to contain his pace and movement. The Real Madrid star wasn't just scoring goals, he was controlling the rhythm of the game every time he entered the final third. Scotland tried to respond positively. Players like McTominay and McGinn worked hard in midfield, attempting to break Brazil's flow and create opportunities for their teammates. There were moments when Scotland managed to move forward, but the final pass was often missing. Brazil's defense remained disciplined and organized, making it difficult for Scotland to create clear chances. Alisson rarely looked troubled, while Marquinhos and Gabriel handled most attacks comfortably.
As the first half progressed, Brazil continued looking like the more dangerous side. Their midfield controlled the pace of the game, moving the ball quickly and forcing Scotland to cover large areas of the pitch. Casemiro provided stability, Bruno Guimaraes linked defence and attack, and Lucas Paquetá added creativity whenever Brazil entered dangerous positions. Scotland were working hard, but Brazil were making football look easy. Then came the moment that changed the match completely. Just before half-time, Vinícius Júnior struck again. Scotland failed to deal with another dangerous Brazilian attack, and the Brazilian winger punished them with a clinical finish. The goal doubled Brazil's advantage and left Scotland facing a massive challenge heading into the second half. Instead of entering the dressing room only one goal behind, they now needed a comeback against one of the strongest teams in world football.
Before we continue, if you're enjoying this World Cup coverage and love football stories from the biggest stage in the game, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us bring you more World Cup content every single day. At halftime, Scotland knew they had no choice but to attack. Sitting back would achieve nothing. They needed an early goal to put pressure on Brazil and give their supporters something to believe in. For a short period after the restart, Scotland looked more aggressive. They pushed higher up the field and tried to create openings through quicker passing. The effort was there, but Brazil remained calm and composed.
One reason Brazil looked so comfortable was their experience. They never seemed rushed. Even when Scotland pressed higher, Brazil found ways to escape pressure and move the ball into dangerous areas. Every player appeared confident in possession, and that confidence allowed them to maintain control of the match. The longer the game continued, the more difficult Scotland's task became. Then, in the 60th minute, Brazil delivered the final blow. Matheus Cunha finished off another dangerous move to make it 3-0. At that moment, the contest was effectively over. Scotland's players continued fighting, but everyone inside the stadium understood that Brazil were now in complete control. The goal highlighted another important strength of this Brazilian team. Opponents may focus on stopping Vinícius Júnior, but Brazil have multiple players capable of deciding matches. If one star doesn't score, another one can.
With a 3-goal advantage, Brazil could have relaxed. Instead, they continued playing with professionalism and discipline. They controlled possession, defended intelligently, and limited Scotland's opportunities.
That level of focus is often what separates good teams from championship teams. Brazil weren't interested in simply winning, they wanted to dominate. For Scotland, one of the biggest frustrations was their inability to create clear scoring chances.
Despite their effort and determination, Brazil rarely allowed them dangerous opportunities inside the penalty area. Whenever Scotland appeared close to creating something meaningful, a Brazilian defender stepped in to clear the danger. It was a defensive performance that showed why Brazil are considered one of the tournament favorites.
Still, Scotland refused to quit. Their supporters continued singing, and the players kept searching for a goal that could at least provide some reward for their hard work. Late in the match, McTominay came closest to scoring. The opportunity arrived from close range, and for a moment it looked as though Scotland would finally get on the scoreboard. But Alisson reacted brilliantly, making an important save to preserve Brazil's clean sheet. It was one of those moments that reminded everyone why he is regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. As the final minutes ticked away, Brazil looked completely comfortable. The team managed the game intelligently, avoiding unnecessary risks while maintaining control. Their supporters were already celebrating what had become one of their most convincing performances of the tournament. Scotland, meanwhile, faced the reality that their qualification hopes would now depend heavily on other results.
If you're still watching, tell us in the comments right now, can this Brazilian team win the World Cup? Or is there another nation that looks stronger? We'd love to hear your prediction before the knockout stage begins. When the referee blew the final whistle, the scoreboard told the story. Scotland 0, Brazil 3. It was a result that reflected Brazil's superiority throughout the match. They were sharper in attack, stronger in midfield, and more organized in defense. Scotland fought hard, but they simply couldn't match the quality of their opponents on the night. The biggest winner was undoubtedly Vinícius Júnior. His two-goal performance once again demonstrated why he has become one of the most feared attackers in world football. Every time he touched the ball, something exciting seemed possible. His speed, confidence, and finishing ability made life miserable for Scotland's defenders, and his performance earned him the Player of the Match award.
What makes Vinícius even more dangerous is his growing confidence. Great players often thrive under pressure, and the World Cup is the biggest pressure stage in football. Instead of shrinking from the spotlight, Vinícius appears to be embracing it. With every goal, he looks more comfortable. With every match, he looks more determined. And with every performance, he strengthens his reputation as one of the stars of this tournament. The victory also sends an important message to the rest of the competition. Brazil are not just winning games, they are building momentum. Their attack is producing goals, their defense remains solid, and their squad possesses the depth needed to compete against anyone. As the tournament moves closer to the knockout rounds, that combination becomes incredibly dangerous.
For Scotland, the challenge now is recovery. World Cup campaigns are often defined by how teams respond to setbacks. They must learn from this defeat, improve where necessary, and hope other results give them another opportunity. The dream is not necessarily over, but the path forward has become much more difficult. For Brazil, however, the future looks bright. A dominant victory, another outstanding performance from Vinícius Júnior, and 3 valuable points have strengthened belief throughout the squad.